Hello, everybody. How are you? Good morning. Thank you for being here with us. First, I want to double check with you guys that for the all the attendees that are in the conference that you can hear me well. So, guys, if you can chat me or raise your hand, or there's a button that I think is for raising hands. So just confirm that you can hear me. There you go. Perfect. Thank you. So guys, let's do the following. Give us like 5 minutes just to wait for the rest of the attendees to enter and be ready for the webinar. So let's say right now it's my time 10, 1 minute Eastern time. So let's wait until 10:06. Okay. So see you in five, guys. Thank you. All right, guys. Again, good morning. As promised, 10 hours, 6 minutes here in the east side of the US. And thank you again for being here with us. I really hope that you guys are staying safe and healthy due to the current worldwide circumstances. And thank you, Edcon, to invite us here from Hana Tech Win and show you guys a little bit of our lineup or approach to the market and how we can be a good alternative in terms of security, mainly for video. But you will see it's not just video, but other solutions that maybe we can help you guys in your current endeavors under just the current circumstances, but in general for all the security solution that maybe you encounter in your road. So just again double checking. I think you can uh, hear me well, very clear and hopefully loud. And also I see you can you're able to watch my presentation. So I'm gonna try to make it in 1 hour because the whole idea here is to show you a little bit about the lineup first. This is gonna be divided in basically in two rows. And then, which is I think the most important part, because most of you guys already know what we can offer as a HANA tech win in the video security arena. I want to show you a little bit of the upcoming lineup for 2020, what we oversee as a trend of the market, besides obviously the the situation right now. I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna ask me uh, about thermals, about social distancing, and we can cover that part at the end. But let's start out. So my goal, at least in the first 30 minutes, is to show you like a briefly description of technology, a briefly description of the whole lineup, and you will see is as many other competitors divided in a series. So let's start it out. My presentation start with 91 slides, but I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna do until the end. I'm just gonna try to divide and try to go to the really, really needy, important part of the presentation. So let's start out. So this is very, very important to highlight. This is a semi-commercial, technical kind of presentation. We basically want to show you guys that we are very competitive brand in terms of security solution. And again, yes, mainly we're focused on video, but you will see eventually that we're moving forward to cover more stuff just than video, right? And as it is kind of natural, we are always back up with technology, innovation, and the performance of our solution. I don't want to read the slide, but as you see, this is basically the presentation of the company, and there's a presentation to show you guys how trustworthy are we in HANA TechWin. This is very unfortunate times, but for us, and showing how really the Korean technology is committed with the worldwide well-being. We have been very fortunate to basically belong to this company who is really focused on really develop technology, looking forward to a better future in general. So that philosophy behind HANA Tech Bring is something that we're trying to bring to you guys through our products and solution and in general our general proposal, right? Uh, a little bit more about the company. Well, we are a Fortune 500 company. We manufacture in South Korea and Vietnam, which is quite important right now. And let me say this: it has been always important to have an alternative in terms of production, because we cannot rely just in one place to produce everything. And as you see, we are moving our efforts since forever to be very independent in that sense. For you guys that basically don't know a lot about Hava, well, we are one of the I think everybody knows Samsung. Everybody knows that we came from Samsung, but now we are part of a different conglomerate, which is Hanwha. But is as big as Samsung it is. So it's a different market, but here we are focused on the video security technology. So we have the technology, but we have all that wellness that a company like HANA can bring to the technology part. So this is important for you guys to know. But now talking about product per se, as I mentioned, you guys, I'm gonna try to cover at least the most important part of the professional security solution lineup that we offer. I'm gonna focus most of the conversation today in cameras, but also I'm gonna touch upon the solution part, mainly in the new roadmap, right? So as you see, and is basically is everyone is acquainted how companies in this market is are divide their portfolio basis on series, and every series means something. So basically, I don't want to say this the P is the highest performance on which, but in this case it is. The thing is, right now you have basically almost at the bottom the T series, which is or which basically back in that time when I created this slide was just related to thermals. But right now there is a couple of new addition in this T series that is not just thermal, and you will see later. So basically, you can see here, I'm there's a one that is dedicated for Latin American market, which is the L series that is not in this slide, but you will see later on, which is the, let's say, the low end version of the IP solution. But also, obviously, we also carry an analog high definition solution, which is the HD Plus series, right? So let's talk a little bit about technology and where are we pointing at in terms of technology, right? Um, a lot of manufacturers talk a lot about sensor and talk not too much about the famous SoC. We talk a lot about the SoC design, which is the system on a chip, or basically all the brain that is capable to grab up the information to the sensor and convert that information in usable features, like, for example, a usable wide dynamic range, a usable noise reductions, usable lens correction algorithm, and obviously the most important one right now is how to use that information coming from the for the sensor, uh, make it usable to do a real video analysis, and in your case, not just video but also audio analysis of the situation. I call that part like the situational awareness. And I start my conversation right now talking about the SoC, which is the, let's say, is the processor. But also, and you will see more and more. And in the second part of the presentation, I want to talk just a little bit about the new Wisenet 7, which is also a new SoC, a new chip who process the image part. But there is very important change right now. The new sensors that we are going to promote with Wisenet 7 have a nice and better capability, and I can say they pre-process a lot of information that is easily digest for the SoC, which basically enhance whatever characteristic we used to have. You will see even better wide dynamic range, better low light performance, better noise reduction, and also a lot of better video analytics. And we can start to tell right now that in the new version of our product for 2020, we can offer real artificial intelligence analytics. Um, just to highlight some of the features that you can encounter right now in our proposal are obviously a better wide dynamic range technology, which basically goes further 150 dBs, and basically the rule of thumb here is if you go up in wide dynamic range, basically it's better, or you can catch better images. Doesn't matter if you have a black and bright area in the same scene. The wide dynamic range will allow you to capture both without compromising any part of the scenery, right? Um, want to highlight over here. I want to highlight this part, which is sounds like right now not that important, but this part related to the gyro sensor and image stabilization is quite important, especially for PTZs and for our cameras that are installed very high. Could be like the multi-sensor type of cameras, because at the end that allow us to really use analytics and not trigger video analysis without really needed. And I will explain it later in a more deep way. Erase this. I don't want to go further all the characteristics. Just want to highlight some. By the way, guys, pretty sure you will have questions, but let's leave it at the end. I don't know if we can chat or talk. We'll decide. We will decide it later, but just write your questions somewhere, and later we can answer all the questions that you guys have. Move forward here. You know, I think you guys already understand that the concept behind the wide dynamic range. Just want to highlight with you that right now we are, I think, the manufacturer who offer the highest level of wide dynamic range, and I'm talking about no digital wide dynamic range, but real wide dynamic range, which is composed of several exposure times per frame, which make it the image more clear under whatever challenging condition in terms of light, right? And as you will see in our proposal in 5 megapixel, we offer 120, but if you go to 2 megapixels, we can go further 150. This is just a video trying to showcase this scenario. I'm pretty sure it's very familiar with you guys. Obviously, the image on the left side of the screen is not as good as the right side, and this is basically because the camera is capturing like in the real time several frames, up to 4 frames at the same time, and they combine it at the end to make basically to decide which regions needs to be treated with a very bright response, or which region should be treated with a very dark response, and combining and have the best of both worlds. Basically, in a nutshell, is how a real wide dynamic range works. And this is basically the highlight compensation features, which is quite useful. And let me see, where's the video here? It's quite useful precisely to avoid basically lights coming over. Let me take this. Where's the arrow? Normal. Okay. With lights coming over this in, and let me just roll out the video. The right side image is without highlight compensation, and this is a different brand, the one on the right side. But as you see, when you use highlight compensation, actually back then, like 7 years ago, this is not a new technology, but now it's even more useful because this combined not just this artificial effect to try to cover like the bright lights around an scene, but back then 5-7 years ago we call this eclipser feature. And as you see, is basically trying to diminish that smear effects in the scene of very bright lights. And you will see this is very useful for city surveillance as well. And if you, for example, want to capture cars or license plates, if you use this kind of feature, will be help you a lot, right? Sorry, sometimes take me time because I'm not used to go to webinar yet. So on the gyro sensor, which I don't know honestly right now how's my competition doing with this, but in general, for any installation that goes outside and goes above 3 to 4 meters, this is something that is essential. And here you don't see any like a big jumps, but for example, if you go with a PTC, this is small bump. If you go further with a PTC 32x of zoom, basically this movement will not allow you to really capture useful images and do any forensic analytics. So that's very basically it's more that needed. It's like mandatory nowadays, even more if we are talking about artificial intelligence based analytics. So the very base of any analytic is have a good quality, stable image. Without that, basically you cannot do a real analysis, right? And as I'm telling you right now, obviously if you go further up in the lineup, and you will see later, we offer more and more analysis in the video and in audio, because some of our LiDAR also includes what we call audio analytics and sound classification. But basically, I want to highlight that whatever analytics is inside the camera basically comes for free and is useful for a lot of situation. For example, I'm just going a little bit further here. The business on statistical analysis, the business analytics that came basically in all the X and P series, or most of the X and P series, are very useful for example, queue management, people counting, and heat map. And here is where a lot of people start to ask me, hey, can we use that for social distancing? And the idea is yes, and you will see it like if we move further with the new AI based analytics that we can offer in the new generation of cameras, you will see that it's even more useful for those purposes. And obviously, it's not like a feature that is built in directly right now for this kind of situation, but you as an integrator can with a little bit of creativity can use those features in order to achieve that goal of count how many people can be in X or Y place, right? Where's my mouse? There you go. I'll forget about it. This is more sales part, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's free. The sales guys always put me some slides because they want to sell. But anyways, more of the same. Some of the analytics that we have already on many of the cameras. This is just an example. Let me see. Sometimes the video runs, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why. There you go. And this is basically directly set up on the camera. You basically are following a video stream directly for the graphical user interface from the camera. And if you guys knows and play with the camera, you will see how easy it is to set up any basic rule of video analysis in the camera, and how easy it is to trigger one of those in whatever scenario you want to use it with a bunch of VMS in the market. A little bit more about the loitering detection is obviously to detect if people is just walking around without like in a suspicious way. So it's quite simple. Which one is that? That's I never wiped this video, but basically it's to detect faces. This is face detection, right? And this is basically it's a little bit tricky, but but they try to be funny with this. Um, and P series, X series basically have the ability to detect faces, and you will see it. And again, this is part of the thing that you're gonna see later. Uh, we can offer in the new AI-based analytics face detection and gender detection and some features related to gender face that I don't want to go too further because it's part of the next part of the presentation. I really hope that you guys stay to the end. So let me move forward very quickly. This is very nice. I don't know if the audio is up. I think this is muted. I mean, I don't know why the video is muted, but basically this is the part of the sound classification, and you will see basically how this will trigger an alert. In this case, yes, this is our VMS, our wave. Let me move it a little bit further to showcase. Here, I don't know where's the analytic. Basically, let me move forward. I don't know why there you go. I think this is better because basically what I want to show you is as soon as the guy shoot, this is supposed to pop up some alarm, and it's also part of the X series and the P series in the fixed type of P series and in the cameras, right? And I think it's my PowerPoint because at the end it's supposed to pop up like the alarm. Let me see if I have it right here, but just I gonna try to find out why it is not popping up the alarm in the video. But basically based on audio classification, it's very simple. We define like the threshold of sound where we in this case we detect where is somebody shooting or somebody yelling, and then we can generate alarms not just in our VMS but in general any VMS who receive any type of HTTP type of alarms, right? Hmm. What is this? Well, basically, it's a small comparison between H.264 and H.265. As you see, we are fully equipped since, I don't know, I'm kind of new in HANA Tagweb, but since forever, let's say, since the last Wisenet 5, we are fully equipped with H.265, allowing us to have cost saving in terms of bandwidth transmission, who basically also is directly proportional to the saving in storage. And more or less around this scenario that we are picturing over here, we can see that basically in storage we decreased from 33 terabytes to 21 terabytes. And in the network consumption, we went from 101 mega BPS to just 68, which is very impressive. And here I'm just talking about H.265, but besides that, we have additional technologies that can be over the H.265, which even increase the amount of saving, which basically decrease the monthly payment in term of storage or the network consumption, right? They didn't even put the price over here. And this is basically part of the Wisestream too. So besides the natural saving that we can offer with H.265, our data compression technology, besides the use of the GOVs and can add also dynamic frame per second, let's say the dynamic frames per second judgment. Also have a low pass filter technology to detect movement or not. And basically the camera alone and this technology alone can decrease between, between the normal saving that you already see in H265, an average of that goes from 50 to 99% bit rate reduction. And obviously, when I say 99% is when there is no movement, and it's very simple, guy, because at the end, the camera can detect basically the low pass filter technology that they have. If there is no motion at all in the scene, you basically can decrease the, or can basically make it wider, the GOV, or the inter frame prediction, or the big frames prediction between H265, but also you can decrease the number of frame per second that you need. So it's quite simple. Uh, to detect movement, the human eye need at least 24 frames per second to say that is really movement in a natural way, right? There is a movement in a natural way. But if there is a scene that doesn't have any movement at all, basically the camera doesn't need to send information at 24 frames per second or 30 frames per second. So the camera detects that and basically decrease the amount of frame per second to the basically the lowest amount of frame per second that is suitable for that situation. Could be 10, could be 1, could be 2, depends on the situation. So in that example, we can go further to almost 99% bit rate reduction compared with any other H265 technologies. And this is just technology, and this is I'm gonna try to make it very quickly, because we are basically 2 minutes past 10:30. This is in a nutshell slide that basically show the whole lineup. And if you remember one of the first slides that I showed, the T was down there because we're referred to thermal, but now we have more stuff in the Wisenet T series, which is not just thermal, right? As you see, basically the price decrease with the L series, but also the performance decrease, meaning as obviously have less features in terms of video analysis. Is basically have just basic motion detection. Maybe the SoC is not as powerful as the Q or X series. It's simple. If we move further and further up, we also are moving further and further right, which means yes, the price is increasing a little bit, but also the performance is increasing a lot. And again, I don't want to show you what is in the slides. I will share with you guys all the presentation here, but this is in a nutshell part of the current, and again, let me highlight current lineup that we are offering. And when I say current, you will see something new in the upcoming 2020 lineup. And this is a beautiful slide also, because basically shows what type of analytics and also video features in terms of wide dynamic range we offer, motion detection, tamper lottery, disappearing, line crossing, etc., etc. Actually, here the P, just until March it was right. So now you can add to the P series also queue management for the P with AI features. So there is not really accurate. So basically the P and the X right now in terms of video analysis can offer pretty much the same. Let me just, and I think I have it later in the presentation, but let me just took some of representation of every series of cameras that we think are useful to bring upon in this conversation. One that I really like is not just the X series, but the X series Plus, because for the installers, when we have big projects where basically we have to deploy a lot of camera, one of the main feature of this camera is how easy it is to install and how easy it is to deploy. I don't know if I have it here. I don't think I have it here. But since the very box of the camera basically have a small, let's say, a small hole to pre-configure the camera inside the box, basically be ready to deployment and to installation. And as you see, it's very modular. And in that sense, allow you to basically do first all the cabling and then run the pipes and then do the mounting plates and the bottom. And then when you finish your configuration in terms of network requirements, all the features needed in order to configure the camera, then you can easily mount the camera because basically it's attached by a magnet. So it's quite useful and installation friendly solution with the X Plus series. And also, I don't know why I didn't put it over here. In the new X Plus series, as you see, this is X normal and X Plus series. I don't see it over here. There, yeah, actually here, but I don't think it's very clear. With this one, we basically can do like a small daisy chain of PoE and also give power to another camera through the same camera. Another camera who basically runs in PoE, or also an access control, or also whatever other accessory that is run under our network and needs to be fed by PoE. So the camera, the X Plus series, offer additional, let's say, daisy chain power PoE. Okay. So let me, and again, let me. I'm talking a little bit about everything. And one of the, I think it's one of the most sell. Let me put everything right here. The most sold lineup that we have in general for cities is where this type of solution is more appealing. Is the multi-sensor cameras, and as you see, we have a quite very diverse lineup that goes from the first one is 2 megapixel per sensor, which is 8 megapixels, or 5 megapixel, which is at the end 20 megapixel, and basically that combination in several form factors, which both with a like typical multi-sensor for sensor per device, but also the famous like I say UFO type of solution. But this one is quite, even though I mean those type of cameras are not even uh, and they're not gonna be even pretty because are bulky anyways. But this camera have a nice variety in terms of the lenses that you can carry, the analytics that you can run, the combination between the sensors and the PTC and how intelligent they can perform. And for Latin America, our version allows audio and all the things related to audio that we can trigger with that combination. So it's quite useful for this application. And yes, this is more commercial. I don't want to, all this Google pictures in terms of installation, blah, blah, blah. You can do it with a multi-sensor. Yeah, I don't want to tell you guys that you already know. But I think, for example, one of the cameras that I really impressed with not just the usability, but the performance, how seamless and useful and easy to install is this panoramic one. Basically, this one is a real picture of the panoramic one. And as you see, this is a 20 megapixel. The image is quite amazing, to be honest. For a huge megapixel camera with several sensors, and I think I have like a real video. There you go. And to make it even more challenging in the night, and this camera, it doesn't not just allow 180 degrees, but sometimes people need more than 180, 207, sorry, 210, because need to cover a little bit more further, because the camera is not just mounted in the wall, but it's mounted in a type of parapet mount, and needs to cover a little bit behind. So this camera can offer this option as well. And again, this is quite impressive and quite useful for this set of application. And here I'm repeating myself a lot in terms of of city surveillance, but it's, as you see, give you like the whole panoramic perspective in a nice, crispy, good image quality solution, right? Let me move forward here. Um, and this is a beauty actually. This one, even though, and again, like it's bulky, it's big, for the installer, maybe is not the most appealing for them. But then the useful and how easy can make this camera your life in terms of total monitoring. And the guy from Atcon can basically support me here because we have a bunch of this in Mexico City. Damn, this camera basically can do the hard work in a very easy way. Um, and again, I'm gonna share this information with you. The principle you already guys know. But one of the things that I really like the most about this is the lenses are totally interchangeable, and you can play with the angle because obviously different size of installation maybe require like a wider or narrower angle depending on the situation. And the camera alone basically perform like a really standalone uh, video security lore. Because for example, can perform automatic tracking by itself, can do hand over PTC, which means, I don't know if I have a video later, but which means if you detect something in one of the fixed area, basically the camera can tell the internal PTC or maybe an external one that, hey, something is there, go to that preset and make a zoom, like autonomously, like without any intervention of anyone. And this is quite good. And well, and this is basically more or less the complementary of the solution if you don't need a PTC. um, I'm just gonna leave it there. What is this? I don't remember this video. Let me see what does this North American thing surprise me. Okay. There you go. Yeah, basically this is one video that they want to show for the ISC West. You guys know that it didn't happen for the COVID-19, and one of the previous multi-sensors that I show you is the concept of PTRZ, which is pan, tilt, rotate, and zoom. So normally the multi-sensor are have a manual rotation, but those guys basically allow you to rotate like automatically using the graphical interface and re-establish the position of the heads that they have. All right. This is, oh, you know what? This is part of the new part. So let me switch to the other presentation, guys. Let me just stop my screen 1 second and you will see the new presentation in a few. So meanwhile, if you have questions, want to put something in the chat, just start to do it right now. There you go, blah, blah, blah. Boom. I think I have it here. And where's your screen again? There you go. So now we do a quantitative leap and jump to 2020, which so far I haven't seen the best year in the mankind history, but that's a different story. And what I'm offering to you guys today is a little bit of what is planned ahead for this 2020. Maybe in some items maybe there's a little bit of delay. In some others, basically there's actually there's something that I got that came up earlier. But that's the whole idea. As you see, we have a pretty healthy lineup, very ambitious plans for this whole year. So let me start with the most relevant, at least what I think are the most relevant. And again, if you have more questions, just let me know. And remember, I start to talk about artificial intelligence based analytics. What happened before? How a typical analytics runs in every single camera since before. Basically, what they detect was movement between scenarios. And for the camera, those squares for them basically are squares that were defined by colors, by vectors, but doesn't really identify what was inside them. Now, when you add, sorry, basic artificial intelligence analytics on neural networks and machine learning, the new version of cameras now, when they square a person, the camera already know there is a person because the person in their algorithm, they know that normally a person have between 1.5 to 2 meters around normally, and normally have a head, and normally have two legs, and etc., because this is a part of the neural network that is inside the camera. So this internal analysis is made of the camera, which means you are the first thing that you're gonna see is a huge decrease in like false alarms and false triggers due to foliage, for example, or for trees, or for wind, or for wave, because basically now the camera knows exactly what type of situation is basically identified. In our case, in this example, people. Uh, sorry. So this is part of the new attributes of the forensic search, which are present in the cameras. Now, one of the main attributes, because there's more, but this is the most important ones, we can identify persons. And in the person arena, we can also identify sub-factors, which are gender, is a male, female, the color of the pet and here I forgot something. Not just the color, but also if he's wearing a long sleeve or a short sleeve. This is also another one. Currently, bags, if carrying a bag or not. If also the bottom wear, the color, but also if it's short pants or long pants. And also in the person attribute, he can just focus on the face. And basically this whole intelligence, you basically check in the graphical user interface, but the camera is always basically thinking and doing this inside. So anytime you need to pull out that information, the camera is able to get it. So with the face, obviously, it is as I mentioned before, gender, but also if it's wearing glasses. And I'm gonna tell you something that is official but unofficial, in the sense that we are not launching it yet, for obviously the new situation that we are living. One of the new part that we are gonna implement, not in the just scenario yet, is if they wear a mask or not, right? Because this is very important right now, right? But also because the attribute of face, he can detect age. He cannot tell you that you have 42 years. Let me be very clear, but he can tell you that you are young, or you're basically kid, young adult. I don't remember. There's 5 or 6. Uh, if you're a senior, or I forget the other one, like middle senior, I don't know, but basically can tell you how old or how young you are. And again, this is information for you guys to start thinking about it. What else we can do in a retail, in a bank, in a place where, for example, senior people is allowed to enter in between X or Y time. But also one of the new attributes in the cameras are that they are able to identify vehicles and the type of vehicles. Here you're showing a car, but can you identify cars, SUVs, bus, trucks, bikes. I don't know if bikes cover just bikes and motorbikes. I don't remember, to be honest. And obviously color, but also is subdivided as well. And basically, when it identifies any type of vehicle, he's always trying to capture if the vehicle have a license plate. He have a substring capturing the license plate. It's not license plate recognition, but it can be used for forensic analysis based on that. Whew. I talked a lot, so I don't know if here shows better, but basically this is one of the user interface using one of our software, trying to filter by color. And as you see, based on the color, in this case is black, we can find all the people who basically is wearing black color jackets or basically top wear, right? This is a little bit of the same, but as you saw before, one of the other feature that is present in every camera who basically have AI-based analytics is that is able to give you what we call the best shot image capture. So in every, and basically this is on demand as well, in every capture that is a request for the camera, there is a thumbnail attached, which basically have the best picture of the person in this case, or the vehicle in other cases, to easily identify the situation and to do a forensic analytics. Remember that I mentioned at the beginning, like, yes, our X series and now the P series carry what we call the statistics inside the cameras, which basically are queue management, heat map, and people counting. Well, the recommendation for those analytics basically was put the camera in a top-down view. I always call it like an axial view, right? Because it was easier for the camera to capture basically heads and do the calculation. You basically use like the weight of a person. But now with the AI-based people counting of AI-based analytics, you can put the camera in a normal view, in a sagittal type of view, and use the camera not just to do queue management, people counted, or object classification, but also to do whatever other normal video security tasks that you need to do, right? And I put it this on the side with a retail inside version, which is one of another software that we offer for retail, which basically put in a very nice, neat way this whole information in a very user-friendly suite. What time is it? Well, I think we're until 11. We have 5 minutes, but I'm gonna rush a little bit. I'm pretty sure in 10 minutes we can cover at least the most important parts. So this slides basically is what I already told you. I mean, right now in between this, merging from Wisenet 5 to the new Wisenet 7, actually the real first Wisenet 7 are gonna be launched around, not around, it's gonna be launched in June. And as I mentioned before, this is basically an increase in image quality first, which basically first image quality, which basically translate in a very useful video analytics, and that allow us to offer right now AI analytics. And this is basically, besides the part related to analytics, is a huge step in the enhanced cybersecurity part, which I don't want to explain too much right now because it takes me like 1 hour just to explain the new feature in cybersecurity, which are these are the four most like visual ones, but there's a bunch of more. the security part. Just to show you a little bit how better now is the lens destruction correction compared with previous version, how better is the wide dynamic range right now, how better is the low light performance. Voila. Part of the new launching is coming with new designs in the PTCs, and I think this is the more radical ones in terms of designs. And as you see, is similar or is a more this type of bubble type of cameras. We're gonna do like again a quantum leap from 2 megapixels, and you will see our new proposal. We will jump drastically from not just 23 or 32, but 40 and 55, right, in the 2 megapixel arena. And we are gonna move forward not just to 5 megapixel, but 6 megapixel. And the reason behind that is a very reason that is behind broadcast and photography. 6 megapixel is more similar to a wider aspect ratio than 5 megapixel, and I'm pretty sure you guys already know this. And when you go to 5 megapixel, in order to see the image like the normal image in a IP version of cameras, which is 16:9, you have to decrease the resolution not to 5 but to 4. So basically you were losing like 1 megapixel, and 6 megapixel you don't need to do that. Same with 4 megapixel. Sorry, for 4K. So we are gonna jump to that arena. And additional features that are very important to highlight. One of the that I think is very easy to sell is we are gonna launch with the cameras some wiper models. So at least 3 models of the new ones are gonna be implemented with a wiper built-in. So this is quite important. Besides that, and again, those basically carry the new Wisenet 7, right? And let me go very fast over here. This is let me just jump out in this one. One of our plans also is to release our first high-speed ANPR camera with global shutter, which basically translating very high-speed license plate image capture for tolls and this kind of application. I don't wanna talk about thermal because I know where's gonna be your question in terms of thermal. And actually yesterday I have confirmation that yes, we are. I don't have it in the presentation. Sorry guys. We are going to launch, and I think last week basically IPVN filters and information, but yes, we're gonna launch a bispectral thermal camera. And what I say bispectral is thermal and normal full HD video camera, allowing us to measure temperature, body temperature, and also detect using AI analytics at least if the people is wearing a mask or not. But it's going to extend further and further besides this. So I will keep you posted, obviously. This is a new design of a 360 camera made for parking lots, which have a visual confirmation of availability in the parking. This is part of the new lineup also that is going to be launched within this year. And still have the 5 minutes, and let's talk not just about cameras, but what else. And the what else is part of the what we call solutions, or what I call basically non-video directly related items, right? And I'm gonna scrub a little bit. No, I'm not gonna follow this these slides. Uh, we have retail inside that I think some of you people already know. And yes, we're gonna launch a new version of MVRs with basically AI analytics as well, meaning that you can use our cameras or third-party cameras and add some kind of artificial intelligence. But one that I really like and I'm very excited about is this real-time location system, which basically is nothing related to video, but it's parallel, let's say the parallel network that run through the cameras that are already installed in a place. And the first market that we are foreseeing here is medical and healthcare, where, for instance, you want to track, like, I don't know what items are available in every floor on a hospital, or where are the doctors that are focusing on X or Y disease, where are located inside of premises. Basically, this real-time location system is a inside tracking system for assets. And when I say assets, could be like inanimated assets, or it could be persons. And the only thing that you need is this BLE beacon, which can be basically those key holders that have this BLE beacon. Could be your iWatch, could be your Fitbit band, could be anything who are able to transmit using Bluetooth. It's an additional feature that came over with the X series cameras at the beginning, and will and think about this like a IoT gateway network running on the video surveillance system, which is quite interesting, right? Well, I already talked about this, I think. Yes, this is similar to this, but more channels. And finally, I think finally, because I know a lot of people were asking about network audio system, which includes at the beginning we're gonna launch the most demanded one, which is network speakers, uh, internal, external, horn type, ceiling, cabinet, etc. Uh, finally, but also we're not just gonna end it over here with the speaker. We are gonna launch the whole suite, including microphones, media adapters, and the audio servers, the software, the hardware, and the integration in our own VMS and third-party VMSs. So this part is I think quite interesting. Of here, normal, next. Well, yeah, we're ready to talk a little bit about retail inside. Some of the features. This is basically a wrap up of everything. I already talked about this. This is basically the VLE, real-time location system using Bluetooth devices. And again, could be also be very useful for logistic as well. That's a very important part. So basically, I think I'm gonna wrap it up over here because yes, already 11. I mean, my 11. What I'm gonna do, guys, is just ask our friend for Atkin to handle if we have questions, requirements, etc. And just wait for you guys. I don't know where's the question part, where's the chat part here? Ah, there you go. Any questions? No? Let me see who has. This was very boring. Ah, Ron.
Actually, we have one question from Ron. Yes, Mauricio, I'm sorry.
Okay. So how can I handle this? Just give Ron the audio control.
No, we cannot give it him. You can just answer the question.
Where's the question? I cannot see. I just is in the chat.
Okay, there is a chat, and up there is a
Ah,
question
there you
panel.
go. There you go. Run. You need to put on the screen below. There was a red and alert show. Ah, okay. Thank you. I didn't saw it run. Can you send me more info on the real-time application system? Yes, I will show you and send you guys. Let me just wrap it up because as you see, there's two presentations. I'm gonna convert in just one and send this information for you guys for your whole knowledge. Don't worry. So are the new features part of firmware update of the cameras or the new features are basically run the new features and mainly all the new features that I spoke today are based on new cameras and based on the like the second part of the presentation with the launching that we are gonna start doing May, June, August, and until the end of the year, and there are gonna be new cameras. Okay, de nada, thanks. You're welcome. Who else? Nope.
Any other question? No.
Funny. Easy peasy. All right. Any point to
Any
point, like any point to point system for transmission? And the yeah, and the the very short answer is not in this year. We are still not as pioneering
any
as we should.
point-to-point systems, Marco? We have a lot of brands in Netcom. We're gonna send you an email, and you can ask this, and we wanna send you information about networking systems.
Yeah, and that's a very it's good to highlight the part that even though we don't have it, we always have EPCOM here. Basically, that's the reason. Besides the sales, obviously, they are the expert in the rest of the stuff and how to tie together all the solution to make it a real solution. So whatever we don't have, I'm pretty sure EPCOM has like the answer for that. Right? It was quite a quite an easy audience. No, not too many questions. Good. And no one asked me about the thermal, which is quite amazing because since the last 2 weeks everybody's asking me where's the thermal for body detection. And I can tell you, I don't know if you caught me in that part, but yes, we are planning to have that solution for us today, October. I'm pretty sure they're gonna rush a little bit more. And obviously AdCam, I will you guys keep you posted with all the information because believe me, the final draft version of this new solution just came out yesterday to me. Pride of the thermal is a question. Yes, it's always a question. As today and again, I know you guys are recording me and you can record us. This is not a problem. The estimated price, street price of just of the camera, because still we are not sure if we're gonna include a black body. We are not sure if gonna be a bundle included some type of MVR. We don't know. I'm just talking about the cameras today. Um, is gonna be like for from sorry, let me double check, but it's gonna be around 6,000 K as today. Remember, is still not really well defined. But remember, it's not just one camera, it's two cameras, it's dual spectral, have the AI, but it's just a tentative information today. Okay. So guys, I think we can wrap it up. And
This is all.
yeah, say thank you. Yeah, there's your questions here. Okay. And
Thank you so much, Mauricio, for your time.
yeah, thank you for inviting me for this time with your people here. And hopefully, if you have more questions, you already know the guy from NICOM. They address all the questions to me if necessary. So, and again, keep safe, keep healthy, and see you guys in the next opportunity. Bye.
Bye bye, Mauricio. Thank you.
Thank you.